Hello everyone, I'm Krasia Tasiu. I'm Sidereal Astrologer from the School of Ancient Astrology. I am honored to have with me Mr. Anil Aggarwala, who is Hindu Vedic astrologer, known with his mundane astrology and financial astrology predictions. He is awarded with Sarosh Memorial Award for Best Research in Astrology in the years 2011-2012. His articles are published in all leading astrological magazines of India, along with many astrological magazines in the US. Mr. Anil is known for his successful prediction for the United States presidential elections of Donald Trump and for the massive fall in the financial market in India due to some governmental actions and many more. I'm personally following the mundane predictions and the financial market predictions of Mr. Anil, and they're really very accurate. Therefore, I'm honored to invite him for an interview for our students. So, hello, Mr. Anil. We're honored to have the chance to interview you. Hello.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Tell us, please, about the Vedic astrology, your choice. You chose Vedic astrology over the modern. Why you think it's working better than the contemporary? What makes the Vedic astrology so unique, so accurate, following your predictions, I say this?
Well, I'll tell you, when I was in my middle age, my father used to consult an astrologer, a Vedic astrologer, and he's the same astrologer of India who's known for his predictions. And at the time of independence of India, this gentleman, this astrologer, had predicted the Muhurat chart. You understand? The time of independence.
Okay.
And my father happened to be in the same state where he lived, and he happened to go to him, and he got some predictions which proved amazing. So I found, and later on also in later part of the life, I found his predictions were very accurate, and that's why I tried to follow him. And then in the year 2007, then I was very much involved in my career at that point of time. So I could not concentrate much on the astrology part. But in the year 2007, when I was about 60 years of age and I had little time for myself and astrology, then I joined Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and there I learned the Vedic astrology. And one teacher, I became very friendly with him, and then he taught me personally the Vedic principles. And I found that whatever principles he taught me, they were very accurate. And from time to time, I was using them for the financial market, for the mundane astrology, and I found them really
amazing, especially about the mundane astrology and the financial market astrology. I wanted to ask you because this is the most difficult branch of astrology, actually. Tell us about this, please. First, why this is the most difficult sector of astrology, and what made it so attractive to you, actually?
well. You see, I'll tell you in Vedic Hindu Vedic astrology, the slow-moving planets are very important. The slow-moving planets are basically the superior planets, the Saturn, the Jupiter, and then Mars. And then apart from slow-moving planets, we have the nodes, the north node Rahu and the south node Ketu. And I'll tell you, my teacher told me that their periodic cycles are very important. Like Jupiter comes back to the same sign after 12 years, Saturn comes back after 30 years, and then Rahu comes back the north node comes back at the same position after 18.5 years. And to round off, if we take the lowest common factor, we know mathematics, and we can calculate the lowest common factor between Saturn, Jupiter, and the north node, and we find it is a cycle of 30 years. So what I did, in the year 2017, Saturn, Saturn is the key planet for all the events in the mundane.
Yes.
And without Saturn activating the certain points and certain degrees, nothing would happen in the mundane or in the globe. So what I did, and when Saturn is fallen, I'll tell you what is fallen. People don't understand a fallen. Fallen is any planet when it goes in a certain sign, and especially these slow-moving planets, they become retrograde.
Yes.
When they become retrograde and when they fall in the previous sign, then they are very venomous, and especially planets like Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars. Now, in the year 2017, Saturn was fallen on 21st of June. From 21st of June to 27th of October, it was fallen in Scorpio. So what I did, I tried to find out when it was fallen in the previous cycles. Now, 30 years back, it was not fallen in Scorpio, but 59 years back, it was fallen in Scorpio on the 2nd of June, 1958. So I pulled out all the data, what was available at that point of time. And I found at that point of time, the financial market surged like anything. The stock market, it went beyond expectations. And that's where I exactly predicted that when Saturn will be fallen, when it goes in retrogression in April 2017, and when fallen, then we would experience the same amount of happenings. So I wrote an article on that, and I think I have mentioned that article to you. And according to that, whatever happenings happened, they have almost repeated in a similar fashion. And till date, the stock markets are going up, and they are about now the 90-year cycle of Saturn will complete somewhere in 2018 and 2019. So that is the point you can roughly see that there can be a deep recession, because 90 years back in 1929, there was a deep recession. So we can roughly say that Saturn will behave when it completes a cycle of 90 years, it could behave in a similar fashion. So that's how the financial market behaves. So as a matter of fact, there are no books on financial astrology. The great stalwart B.V. Raman, he also said that financial astrology predictions are very difficult, and you can only reach 60 to 70% accuracy.
Exactly.
But you see, if what my finding is that if you do some research and pick up what all has happened in the previous cycles, you can definitely predict accordingly. And this 30-year cycle of the planets is very important, and especially Saturn.
This is amazing. Yes, thank you. You shared exactly the pattern and the model you're using. This will be very useful for our students. Please give us another example with other planets which influenced the market apart from Saturn, because this was a wonderful example that you gave already.
Saturn, Jupiter. You see, normally Jupiter, whenever the planets, these three planets, Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, when they go in retrogression, that is the point of time when the market surges. The market goes up. When the number of planets are retrograde, you see, as many planets are retrograde, as much rise in the financial market. And as many planets are direct, then there is a stagnancy, and there is a possibility when and then you use the this lunation charts, and you use the solar ingress charts. So according to the solar ingress, especially the Sun transit in the cardinal signs, in the Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and then you see the lunation charts. Whenever Moon is in benefic condition, the market would, be stable or it will be bearish. But whenever Moon is afflicted, the market would rise. There will be a surge in the market. So that's how you can tabulate and you can see the predictions finally. And then last but not the least, the North Node is very important. As I wrote yesterday on the Facebook, the Indian market was rising till 27th. But 27th evening, all of a sudden, the market, it went back. Even today, it is not rising because this North Node, you see, the motion is retrograde. But
Yes.
twice or thrice in a month, it is direct. And that's the point of time. That time is very important. Whenever it becomes direct, it changes the trend of the market. It is like turning the glass of water upside down. So what happens if the market is going up, it will bring down. If the market is going down, there will be a rise in the market. So the number of days for which the North Node is in direct motion, that period there will be a rise or fall for that many days. And according to that only, and because of other planetary positions, I had predicted that there will be a strong, steep fall in the prices in the stock market, and that was the November 2016 when the demonetization of rupee took place in India.
Oh, I see. This is now the place to say that on your website, which our students can find also on our website, a link under our friends. So your website is www.astrodocAnil.com, where everyone can read your articles with predictions on mundane and financial events, and you're also teaching
financial. Then I use a horary chart, and horary chart even works for the lunation charts and even for the solar ingress. So basically my concept is the horary charts. In horary charts, the 5 elements are very important. The day, then the constellation, then the Karna. The Karna Lord is the planet which really tells you what sort of fructification will take place. It tells you, supposing you go to a tailor and you want to get your shirt made. He will, when you give him the cloth, he will make the shirt. But when you wear it, whether it is fitting you properly or not, if you are feeling uncomfortable or if you are feeling satisfied, that all will be depicted by this Karna Lord. So like today, when we are talking to each other, the Karna Lord is Jupiter. And Jupiter is significator of astrology. And Jupiter has a connection of exchange with Venus, the Lagna Lord at the time when we are talking. So the connection becomes very important. So that's how, we can see the things.
Amazing.
So mixing up horary with natal and with mundane, it works fantastically well.
Amazing. I'm surprised by what you said. By the way, you use horary. It's amazing. Thank you. What other techniques do you use?
Well, you see, I have listed down. You see, the first of all is the time of query. Now, supposing I'm writing an article, that time of query is very important. And it gives you see, why that you have started to write or why any activity has started to take place at that point of time. That is very important. So, according to the time, only the time, I calculate a number which can be done within seconds, that number will depict the planet which is influencing the movement. So that planet becomes very important. So then the cycle of planets, as I told you, Jupiter has a cycle of 12 years, Saturn has a cycle of 30 years, and who has a cycle of 8.5 years, but we take normally 18 years. So when these nodes have changed, now in the last transit of Jupiter and Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu has been very important. Why? Because Jupiter changed to Libra on the 12th of September. Saturn changed back to Sagittarius on the 27th of October, and North Node Rahu changed to Cancer on the 9th of September. Now these dates become very important. So what happens? Whatever events are going to take place, they will be basically governed by these three planets because they've changed. So there will be a change in the mundane activities. There will be a change in the the activities and influence on the any individual for that purpose, and on the financial market. You see any sector, there will be a big influence on it. And what is the influence that we have to see according to the time, according to the lunation charts, and according to the solar ingress charts. And supposing somebody comes to you on a particular moment, you can immediately draw a Yama chart in your mind, because we know a good astrologer must know what is the time of sunrise. The time of sunrise is very important in astrology. Even without looking at any chart, just by knowing the time of rise of sun and time of setting of sun, you can predict so many things.
Amazing. Give us an example, please.
So then, you see, lately, only on 18th of December, 18th of December, some, native, she called me up, and before that, on 18th of November, 18th of December, I was writing an article on the lunation chart. So I remembered all the planetary positions. So when this woman called me up, I could immediately imagine that what is the kind of dress she is wearing, what is her question, and whether it will fructify or not. I told her in just 2 minutes without looking at any chart for that purpose. She did not give me any information. I told her that because you see what is happening is whenever moon is approaching Saturn and there is a question raised by a woman, then normally it is a question related to marriage and a problem and a depression. And because on 18th of December, Sun, Saturn and Moon are together, and Sun and Saturn are not supposed to be good. It is a sort of a constraint or a bandhan. In Hindi we call it a bandhan yoga. So I could imagine that she wants to know about her marriage, and she's in a fix. And then see what is Saturn. Saturn is black, Moon is white, and because Rahu is also influencing, so Rahu is maroon, Rahu is brown. So I told her that she is wearing maroon clothes, then black and white. She said yes. Then I told her, you see the time according to the time of query, I could visualize a Yama chart, and I could see that Ketu is placed in the, because nodes are influencing, so Ketu is placed in the north direction. So I told her, you are facing the north direction. She said, you are on dot. Then I asked her, when did you meet this gentleman for the first time? Because you see, the first time anything happens in your life is very important. Now her marriage is a very important event in her life. She met this gentleman on the 5th of September 2016. I remember that 1st September 2016 was a solar eclipse. Now when there is eclipse, this north node becomes very important. So again, the north node is becoming very important. So I said that this will not happen, because when north node is influenced in the eclipse, the normal motion is disturbed. Why we say near eclipses things are bad? Because the motion of north node changes from normal to forward motion. So, and any planet, one planet in retrogression, then this north node becomes the Dara Karak. In Gemini astrology, it becomes the Dara Karak, the significator for marriage. And otherwise also, how marriage is, after marriage, is all depicted by Rahu and the North Node. So I said, because Rahu was in adverse motion, then the marriage will not happen. And she said, yes, I'm in deep depression. This man is just lingering on the things and he's not coming to any conclusion. I said, he will not marry. Don't waste your time on this man. You just, then later on, when I put the horary chart, I found the same things. It was most amazing that just by knowing certain factors, they indicate each and everything. That means one should be alert. A good astrologer should be alert and should know what are the planetary positions, what is the day, what all 5 parameters as I mentioned, the day lord, the constellation lord, the karna lord, the yoga, and the hora lord. So all these things, a good astrologer they are always ready in his mind and he can immediately answer. And then last but not the least, the question raised by the querist. She said, I want to consult you. So the first letter word is I. So I is a vowel, and in astrology, this I is sun. So sun, again, the sun is with Saturn and moon. So it is showing the rise and low, what she is feeling in her mind about her marriage. So that's how you can use all these parameters and you can depict.
Amazing. I am amazed. You gave us so many keys. Thank you very much. You also predicted successfully the results of the elections in America. Donald Trump was elected. Tell us, please, how did you do this? Which methods again you used?
I'm not able to
For
hear
the elections of Donald Trump. For the elections of Donald Trump. Sorry, the connection was maybe falling. You predicted successfully that Donald Trump in America will be elected. How did you do this?
Yeah, you see, I'll tell you, the normal astrology, Vedic astrology is different, and there is a Tamil astrology. Now, Tamil astrology says that whenever Sun and the North Node are very close, then it is a special yoga in the horoscope. Now, in the chart of Donald Trump, if you see, Sun and Rahu are placed in the 10th house. Now, he has a Leo chart, Leo Lagna, Leo ascendant. And the Lagna Lord, the Lord of the ascendant, is placed in the 10th house. It says it's a formation of his own, a formation, a big, he will be a king of his own empire. So a king of his own empire, and then he has Rahu along with it, degree conjunction. So within 5 degrees, if Rahu and Sun are together, it's a Rajyog, because Rahu is not normal. It is not in a normal condition. It is in an abnormal condition because it will be in a forward motion. And then it is aspected by Jupiter. So what happens? Such people, I also have the same combination, and I found in my life that in spite of all the mishappenings, I come out with success. So that's how I predicted that. And then apart from this, I saw the Vedic progression chart. The Vedic progressive chart. In the progressive chart, I found that he's coming out with laurels. He's coming out with success. So that's how I predicted. Because of these 2 parameters, the basic parameter being the Sun and Rahu, and the Dasha also connected to them, and then the Vedic progression chart. Both were indicating clearly that he will come out with success. And whereas that women, I also saw her chart, and I found there were no such combinations. Although 99% astrologers of the world all predicted that Donald Trump will not win, but this single combination of the Sun and the North Node, which makes amazing yoga and becomes very strong, especially in the 10th house, gave him the success.
Okay. You also wrote about America and North Korea. You have interesting article about this. How is this case in the future going to develop? America and North Korea. Since you're already engaged with this issue, I find it very interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you. You see, as I told you, I do a research. So what I've done is I have picked up. You see, Mars is a very important planet. Mars signifies blood. Mars signifies fire. Mars signifies blast. So I picked up all the events in the past, like the WW1, the First World War, the Second World War, then the Korean War, then the Gulf War, and then the Indo-China War, what was there in 1962. And I found in all the cases that Mars and Saturn, they are the important planets. The combination of, you see, the most venomous conjunction of the planets are Saturn, Ketu, Saturn and Ketu.
Yes.
Then Saturn and Rahu, North Node, Rahu. Because you see, Saturn is a slow moving planet, and when they are conjunct or remain in one sign, they remain for a very long period. So the affliction is for a long time. But I've observed that when Mars and Ketu are there, they are most dangerous, and they are most, they give results. But if normally Mars remains in a sign for 45 days, but every 2 years, 2 months, its stay of Mars in a sign is prolonged, and normally it goes in retrogression. When it is in the 5th to 8th house from Sun, it goes in retrogression from 125 degrees to 235 degrees, and then normally it falls back in the previous sign. But this time it is not going to fall in the previous sign, when Mars will go in Capricorn. And before that, you see, North Korea has Mars and Ketu in the 12th house. Now, what is 12th house? 12th house is loss, and this man is just wasting money on all the missiles and the nuclear development. And Mars and Ketu are degree conjunct in his 12th house of North Korea. And then I could make out that when Mars joins this sign on the 30th November 2017, then you see the seeds of the war will be laid. And you can imagine on 29th, he again launched a missile. And then after first of around the 3rd of January, again some provocations will take place. And the UN, as you know, has put sanctions on him, and 90% of the crude, kerosene, petrol has been cut. So this man is going, you see, any person who, when he is attacked, he cannot keep quiet. He will definitely, when he is doing all this, he'll definitely jump. And today it has been exposed that China is helping him, and you can read in the media that there are 6 countries which are going to help North Korea. And when Mars and Saturn are together, probably on the 3rd of April, the things can ignite. And then when Mars goes in Capricorn and joins Ketu for 187 days, in the month of September, when the eclipse took place on the 22nd August 2017, the solar eclipse took place. And on the 3rd of September, Mars had activated the eclipse point. And on the same day, man had fired a missile. So I could make out that whenever Mars is activating the points, Mars is becoming very important. And I have seen now, even on the 1st, they are imposing sanctions on him. And again, Mars is aspecting Ketu very closely. And that conjunction in August was from 27th of August to 9th of September, which it was only 13 days. The conjunction of Mars and Rahu was only 13 days. Now, this conjunction of Mars and Ketu is going to take place for 187 days, which is 15 times more stronger than that. So you can imagine that a war can definitely take place. And then in the year 2019 again, Mars, Saturn, Ketu, and Mars and Rahu will be opposing each other. So that will be the worst time. So that means the differences and the brawl between the nations will start from now, and they will keep escalating till 2019. So 2019 will be very bad, and that will be the point of time when there will be a world recession also, because that 90 years cycle of Saturn will also be completed.
Oh, I see. I see. Exactly. I wanted to hear your prediction. Amazing. What about the ominous phenomena in the Indian Vedic astrologer?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You see, way back then I was not an astrologer, but then I used to predict by omens. In the year 2002, uh, my neighbor girl, who was a friend of my daughter, she used to come to me, and because I had little knowledge of astrology then, and she asked me, "Uncle, when will I get married?" I told her just by looking at the chart, because she had the placement of Jupiter in the ascendant. I told her that she would get married in that particular year by the 31st of July. Some alliance will be fixed. So she went back to her parents, and she said that my uncle has told me like this. So immediately the parents, you see, in India, what happens? They give an advertisement in the paper, and you start getting the applications, and then you sort out the application and start meeting each other. So her parents gave an advertisement in the newspaper, the leading newspaper, and then I had predicted that she would get a very handsome boy from the north direction, and I also named the city. So, so what happened when her father had given an advertisement? They got a lot of applications, and one of the applications was from a boy who was very handsome, was from the same state and city. So she came running to me, and she said, "I said yes, you will get married to this man." And when they had not met, and only an application had come, later on they tried to correspond, and then the one fine day they had not met each other, and neither did the parents correspond with each other. One fine day, I find when I was driving out my drive, I found a very smart army officer standing outside my house. So I told my family that we are not going for shopping, because this man has come for the reference check of this girl who's going to get married. So they said, "How you are saying like this?" I said, "Well, I'll prove it. You wait and see." So this gentleman came inside, and he said that he had come to verify the reference of this girl, how the family is and how is the girl. At the very first point, I told this man that this boy in question and the girl in question, they're going to get married. He thought this man is talking out of his head. They have not talked to each other. Nothing has happened. How this man is saying? So later on, they got married. Exactly, the engagement took place before 31st of July, and they got married. I will tell you how I did it. Because this man was to get a train just after 15 minutes from my house. 15 minutes from my house, about a kilometer and a half from my house. So I said that if I had left 1 minute before, I would not have met this man. So nature has destined that I meet him. I give him a good, reputation about the family and the girl, and definitely then, because nature has scheduled it, they are going to get married, and they got married. So what I'm trying to tell you is, nature at every point of time guides each and every one. It is we who ignore it. I will tell you another case. In the year 2013, my wife, she experienced some lump in her left breast, and we were in Hong Kong at that point of time. Unfortunately, I lost my diamond ring also the same day, and diamond is Venus, and Venus is marriage. So I could make out that there is something, but she had got this was in January 2013, And in July 2012, she had got her thorough checkup. So I was not much perturbed, but I could make out that something is going to happen. So we came back to India, and when we went for the to the pathological lab, I'll tell you a very interesting happening.
Please.
No, the sweeper was cleaning the road to the place where we were going. So I told my wife outright, because there was dirt, the road was dirty, and the sweeper is cleaning, so you will get cancer, but it will get cleaned because the road is cleaned. So exactly that is what happened. Then another thing what happened was that when I came back from Hong Kong, I found, the MCD, the local municipal committee, they had dug the roads around my house. In fact, in the entire locality. And there was negative energy. So I was very much perturbed that I've lost my diamond ring. Then she's having cancer. Then on top of it, this municipal committee has dug pits, and they wanted to replace the drain pipes for rains. So I called up the local chairman, and I told him that, look, my wife is suffering from cancer, please expedite it. He did expedite it, but since my house is in the corner, one side was done, the other side was not done. But let me tell you, because of speedy things on one side, the cancer treatment was done properly, and the moment this road from the other side was also complete, my wife also recovered at the same time. Simultaneously, all the roads which were dug, they were completed, and at the same day, can you imagine, my wife also recovered. But unfortunately, on the left hand side, they were two manholes, and they had left it as it is. They did not repair those. Now my wife had a cancer on the left breast. Just imagine, and she also developed two blisters there. Because these two manholes were not repaired properly, she developed two blisters. So immediately I called up, not going to the hospital. First I rang up this man of the municipal committee, and I said, please repair these because my wife is still suffering. And they did it speedily well. And immediately we also went to the hospital. They also scraped it, and within 2-3 days she was okay. So what my point is that just imagine, whatever events are happening, nature is already telling you. If you follow it, then you can understand. So these are the remedies. Normally people use stones, gems, they all don't work. I don't think they work. It is all psychological. It is the actual effect is the communication with nature. If you develop a communication with nature, I think 50% of your problems can be addressed properly.
Absolutely, I fully agree. Very nice examples you gave us. Thank you. And what about the eclipses? What place, you mentioned already the eclipses, the solar and the lunar eclipses. You mentioned already the eclipses, but what place they have in your analysis? Are they also considered in the Vedic astrology ominous phenomena like they are in the ancient Mesopotamian astrology, for example?
Yeah, you see, what happens at the time of eclipse, if the eclipse is taking place in the 1-7 axis of your ascendant, sun or moon, or the second house or the 8th house, it is not considered good. And then, especially if your dasha is also connected to the north node, and this planet or any planet which is connected to the 6, 8, and 12 houses, which has the capacity to damage you, then that eclipse is very bad for that particular purpose. It can be bad for that country also. So likewise, we can do it. Now, in the case of the eclipses now, the eclipses have already taken place in North Korea in the 4-10 axis. 4-10 axis is also not good. And in the 1-7 axis, 4-10 axis, and in the 1-7 axis of sun and moon. So the 10 axis North Korea eclipses have already taken place, and that's about the time when the brawl between Kim and Trump has taken place. Now, the next, what do you call, eclipses are in the ninth house. Now they will escalate. Once they have started, they will escalate. And then you see, another thing is the Capricorn sign is the darkest sign of the zodiac, because this sign belongs to Saturn, and as the natural in the natural zodiac, he is the 10th and the 11th lord. So if an eclipse is taking place in the 10th house of the natural zodiac, it is definitely going to influence the world. And the 10th house, the Capricorn sign, is considered to be the darkest sign, because after this the progress starts. When from Capricorn to Cancer is the rising. The Cancer is the topmost and Capricorn is the lowermost.
I see. Do you also take into consideration the shadows of the eclipses? Where the shadow, over which countries the shadows of the eclipses go?
No, not really. But I have seen that irrespective whether the shadow is on a country or not, it does influence the individual to some extent. Definitely. Those countries which have the shadow are influenced most, but other countries are also influenced.
Oh, this was my question.
Other countries and other natives also.
So
now,
no way.
In the case of Donald Trump, he has an eclipse in the 410 axis, and the eclipse in the 17 axis helped him because his eclipse is forming a Rajyo. So what happened? In the eclipse, after the eclipse, he has been elected as a president of US. So that eclipse for him is a boon, whereas that eclipse could be bad for somebody else.
Yeah, this was amazing indeed. So the eclipses actually can have positive impact, not only negative then.
Yes, it can have a positive impact depending upon the horoscope. If you have a special yoga connected to eclipses, they can give you a rise also.
Very interesting. What about the astrological magic? Of course, you mentioned about our connection with nature, but what is the place of the astrological magic in the Vedic astrology? And do you use it?
Well, you see, as I told you, the whole human being is connected to all these planets, and all our movements, all our thoughts are all controlled. Now, say for example, I'll tell you, only day before yesterday, a gentleman called me up, and I told him what is in his mind, what is bothering him. You see, the planets, the magic of the planets is that whatever the transit planets are there, if you place them in your chart, so all whichever houses and whichever planets are being influenced, they only activities related to that will come in your life. So that is the magic of astrology.
I see. Thank you. Tell us, Mr. Anil, what should be, it is especially for our students, what are the qualities of the Vedic astrologer of antiquity that they need to have in order to become good astrologers? Do you find that they need to be esoteric and spiritual as well?
Yeah, you see, I will list down the qualities of the Vedic astrologer. So a good astrologer must have deep knowledge. Then he should have good mathematical ability. So mathematical ability is, immediately once you know a planet degrees, you can immediately find out where the placement of that planet will be in the divisional charts. So mathematical ability should be very good. Then he should be religious, God-fearing, and faith in God. This imparts a divine grace to an astrologer. He should be truthful. He should not try to exploit the person who has come to take, guidance from him. He should be disciplined. If he is disciplined in his life, he will definitely score better than other people who are not disciplined. He should be humble. He should have a good speech. The second house should be well versed in his horoscope so that he does not speak ill will. He should be humble. Even if he has to give bad predictions, they should be given in a way that the native who has come to take predictions take it easily. He should have good speech. He should be well versed with Veda, Mantra, Tantra, devotion to mankind, and he should be, conversant with the planetary positions, what are taking place from time to time. So these are the qualities of a good astrologer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anil. I'm repeating that everyone, I advise to visit your website, astrodocanil.com. The website will be written on this video, to read your amazing articles. I personally follow your articles and I learn a lot every time. I also would like to say that Mr. Anil is teaching the ancient techniques of Vedic astrology. Thank you so much. This was really amazing, and you gave us many very useful keys and predictive methods and techniques. Thank you so much, Mr. Anil.
I also thank you very much for giving me an opportunity for an exposure to your students and astrology lovers, and I wish them all the best. And I wish some class is also organized. Once you have students, I can also give lecture, again a lecture on a particular subject.
This is wonderful. We will discuss this with you. Thank you so much. This was wonderful conclusion of our conversation. Thank you.